Hello and welcome to episode 7 of Everything Everywhere All at Once, Going Galactic. I'm your host, Stephen Edwards. All right, at the end of episode 6, we were discussing how our heart and intuition are going to play an increasingly important role in our individual and collective transformation, as well as the world we live in. It's all going to be driven by our heart. Yes, you are going to have to get connected to your heart. I know. I didn't say it was going to be easy, but I did say it was going to be worth it, right? So we are, as we already talked about, in the early stages, relatively speaking, even though the planet's been around for a couple of billions of years, at the early stages of creating a new world. In the past, it seemed like the external world has controlled us, and that we have been at the mercy of our external world. It was never really true, but it's really changing almost in front of our eyes right now. We're learning how to manifest our thoughts, our words, and our actions. And we've been learning how to make it happen and control our external world. As the connectivity and access to knowledge expands exponentially, the conscious evolution of humanity is going to expand exponentially too. In fact, that's what's driving it. An interconnected world where new digital countries are being formed and leading us to a more integrated and connected world. One world, right? Everything is starting to all merge together at the same time, right? And so let's talk about another rapid, radical, exponential revolution taking place, and that is in the world of EVs, electrical vehicles, right? So we've seen these EVs. We're starting to see a lot more now. All the major car manufacturers are in the process of making EVs. Of course, Tesla was and is a pioneering force in the automotive industry, has an impressive range of electric vehicles already, and they push the boundaries of speed and performance. The standout is the Plaid, of course, part of their Super E lineup, which showcases their innovation. With mind-blowing acceleration going from 0 to 60 miles an hour in under 2 seconds, which was, never heard of, right? So it's incredible that at one time, I remember, going on electric vehicles in theme parks and, transit and just thinking, these things are never going to be any use to us because they go too slow. And who would have thought that they would be going to 0 to 60 in under 2 seconds, and at top speeds in excess of 200 miles an hour and even faster. We're going to look at Formula E racing. You all know about Formula One, right? It's become extremely popular, global franchise. Well, we now have Formula E racing too, and we'll look at that later. But Tesla's innovation doesn't stop there, right? So these are just some of the things that the Cybertruck, of course, is going to be released soon, is built with robust stainless steel, showcasing their commitment to quality and durability. And like all Tesla's creations, the Cybertruck is set to revolutionize the industry on multiple levels, right? So this is just showing how creative he is in all of his innovations, how you're going to be able to use this practically, right? And even do cookouts at the back of it, right? And he stated that he himself, Elon Musk, is going to be using the Cybertruck as his everyday vehicle. The speed of charging, the networking of charging stations, of course, has always been a consideration and a concern to people, but that's all changed now, and they're doing all kinds of promotions to show that you have no problem getting recharged, the cost of recharging, and the recharging itself is all becoming easier and faster. So the combustion engine, as the Economist magazine predicted in the early 2000s, will truly be roadkill. Then, of course, there are many other forms of new transportation and distribution. Another one, of course, is the drones, right? Drones, along with other advanced technologies, are poised to revolutionize the way we travel and the way we distribute resources. As unmanned aerial vehicles, drones offer the prospect of faster, more reliable, and cost-effective modes of transformation, whether it is for delivery of goods, emergency medical supplies, or even humans. Drones represent a versatile and sustainable solution. Moreover, drones also hold the promise of reducing road congestion, right, and carbon emissions, thereby contributing to a cleaner and more efficient transportation ecosystem. So the era of drone-aided transportation and distribution signifies a paradigm shift, heralding a new age in logistics and mobility. And of course, drones have military applications too, and we will look at those later. But another example of regular travel being revolutionized is maglev. Maglev is the future of frictionless travel. Magnetic levitation, or maglev, represents a monumental leap in train technology, promising to redefine the future of transformation by employing magnetic systems. Maglev trains float above the tracks, completely eliminating friction and paving the way for unprecedented speed capabilities. So frictionless has become a current word, right, in the vocabulary. We're looking for, products and services that can be delivered without friction. Uber is an example of how it took the friction out of getting a cab, right? Superconductors. And we think we might be close to actually finally having a superconductor, which is a lot of energy is wasted in the transportation storage of electricity, for example, in computers, and taking out the friction is going to save a tremendous amount of energy, make things much more cost effective, and deliver services much more effectively. So we're going to talk about what is thought to be LK99, which is thought to be the superconductor that we've been looking for a long time. But in terms of travel, maglev is going to be a huge leap in frictionless travel, and has the potential to revolutionize long-distance commuting, enabling trains to reach velocities previously thought impossible. Of course, Elon Musk is involved in this too, right? And also Boring Company is actually drilling the tunnels for these things to happen, which is also going to be something we're going to be using on Mars when he colonizates. Is he colonizates? Well, he colonizes Mars as well, right? So the implementation of maglev technology marks the advent of a new era in rail travel, characterized by greater efficiency, speed, and sustainability. So this is the train in Japan, where they've been using it. The country has pioneered the use of this technology in their transportation system with SC maglev. And what do you think the SD stands for? Superconducting, right? This is another word that is being bandied around, and this is something that we're focused on right now: superconductivity. So the train, developed by the Central Japan Railway Company, JR Central, not only reduces travel time significantly, but also showcases Japan's continued commitment to advancing sustainable and efficient transportation. With maglev technology, Japan is certainly spearheading a movement towards frictionless travel, setting a remarkable precedent for the rest of the world. Okay, now, of course, we're now taking on the final frontier, right? Space. When Captain Kirk said to us, we've got to get out there and address the final frontier, even though he was just an actor in a TV show, it's all becoming real, right? So Blue Origin, a groundbreaking aerospace manufacturer and provider of suborbital space flight services, founded, of course, by Jeff Bezos, has already achieved an historic feat. Their inaugural crewed flight aboard the New Shepard suborbital vehicle carried 4 esteemed passengers: Jeff Bezos, his brother Mark Bezos, Wally Funk, of course, we had to take him, and Oliver Damon. And they went out to the cusp of space. This momentous occasion represents a remarkable milestone in the company's vision to democratize space and unlock a realm of infinite possibilities for the future space tourism. So look, again, not that long ago, it would never have even entered people's minds or imagination that a company, an independent company, could start sending out spaceships. but it's happened. This goes back to what we talked about in our earlier edition about companies are getting so big, they can do things that in the past were only possible with governments. And now governments are saying, we can't even do that anymore. We need companies to do it. I know. So as we delve into the era of privatized space travel, the final frontier seems less distant, doesn't it? So previously, only countries, like we said, with virtual and limited budgets could muster the resources to send an astronaut into space. But now, with the advent of companies like SpaceX, Blue Origin, and Virgin Galactic, and others, all right, the narrative is changing. Indeed, space travel is no longer a far-off dream, but a tangible reality for the common man. It's an exciting prospect, but there's a catch. Currently, the price tag attached to these celestial journeys is prohibitively expensive for most people. Yet, as technology advances and competition intensifies, we can anticipate that the cost will decrease significantly, making space travel accessible to more and more people. Okay, so this was a picture taken on that flight, right? People from all around the world got to fly. Even football fans, you see there? I think there's a Miami Dolphins fan in there. Yeah, you just never know, right? Okay, so this is Blue Origin, and soon we'll have the opportunity to see our home from outer space. Home, of course, being planet Earth, which is the word heart to heart. We are connected to Mother Earth. We'll get into that in more detail. We've talked about it already a little bit. Those of you who have not watched some of the past episodes, good stuff, right? All right, of course, SpaceX, right? Elon Musk. He wasn't going to sit on the sidelines while all this was happening. And I think like Bezos and Branson, it's been a dream of his too, all three of them, I think since they were young men, boys, a dream of reusable rockets that could drastically cut the cost of space travel. That's what Musk is doing, of course. He's reusing his rockets. He's got the big grabber, I forget, is it gorilla or something, that actually grabs hold of the rocket when it comes back and puts it on the launch pad. So with SpaceX, Musk revolutionized the field of aerospace with the introduction of reusable rockets, which use only a fraction of the fuel that traditional rockets consume. A lot of people don't realize just how much Musk is an engineer primarily, and how his genius is allowing us to do things. He's demonetizing, democratizing, and decentralizing so many things that in the past people would have said and have said that would be impossible. So this innovation has significantly reduced the cost of space travel, bringing us a step closer to making space tourism a reality for the masses. And by doing this, Musk, along with Bezos and Branson, is reshaping our understanding of what's possible and opening up the final frontier to ordinary citizens. And we've already mentioned that Sir Richard Branson is in here with this as well, with Virgin Galactic. Okay, wants to get into the space tourism business as well. Much like his fellow billionaires, Bezos and Musk, Sir Richard Branson has been eyeing the stars with an entrepreneurial gaze. Virgin Galactic is still operational. In fact, on September the 19th, just a few days ago, September the 19th, 2023, Virgin Galactic successfully completed a test flight of its VSS Unity spacecraft. The flight reached an altitude of 89.2 kilometers, or 55.4 miles, and a speed of Mach 3.04. This was the highest altitude and the fastest speed ever achieved by a commercial spacecraft. So Virgin Galactic is planning to begin commercial flights in early 2024. And tickets for the flights, there's a couple left, I believe. You want to just get your name down right now, currently priced at $450,000. So you just need to take the whole family. So Virgin Galactic is a space tourism company that was founded in 2004 by Richard Branson. So it's been around a while, and this has been on the table for a while. The company's developing a commercial spacecraft that will take passengers to the edge of space. The spacecraft is called VSS Unity, as we said, and is designed to carry 6 passengers and 2 pilots. All right, so Virgin Galactic represents Sir Richard Branson's audacious foray into the world of commercial space travel. Okay, he seeks, as Musk and Bezos, to democratize space travel, transforming it from the preserve of the ultra wealthy and elite astronauts, which wasn't even available to them before, into an experience accessible by all who dream of looking down at Earth from the void of space. So this is a significant stride in the realm of space tourism, promising a future where such exceptional journeys are not just the stuff of dreams or science fiction, but a tangible reality within the reach of more and more people. So again, another example how corporations are getting so big that they can do things that nations, countries, governments could only do in the past. How we're bringing the impossible to the possible. If you take the word impossible, you break it down, the first two letters are I'm possible. It is possible. And it is possible for us through our inner technology to do things that would otherwise not be possible, right? So just showing those guys floating around again. When would you like to go to space and float around weightlessly? All you need to do is dream and set a timeline. The groundwork has been done for you, literally, pardon the pun. So put it on your bucket list. Look, it takes courage to follow the yellow brick road. People will think it's silly, a silly story of make-believe, yet people don't even realize that the world they live in is in fact a silly made-up story that they've been made to believe. They live in a world of make-believe. It takes courage to stand up for what you believe in. Courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is when you're afraid, but you step up and face that fear and do it anyway. So as we finish out here, as usual, I have some sultry to share. As many of you know by now, sultry is the poetry of the heart. And this piece of sultry is called Eternal Youth. Okay, so take a deep breath in. Let it out. Take in one more deep breath. Gently close your eyes. Breathe out slowly. And this piece of sultry, as I said, is called Eternal Youth. When I look around outside in nature, I see mountains I never knew existed. They help realize my feelings, then my thoughts unravel and become untwisted. I was lost in a jungle of matter that was not based in truth or fact, in a world of fear that would cause me to be afraid and then react. What if I cannot survive, make enough money, pay all my bills? What if I cannot afford to live a healthy life and prevent physical ills? I guess I should not worry and just keep taking all the prescription pills. In the end, it's so simple and yet so hard to let go of all the needless frills. I feel so lost in a world that doesn't seem to understand who I am, who I want to be. I try so hard to please everyone, to keep the peace. They all seem to want a piece of me. There is not much left of who I really am. I no longer remember how it was to be free. I see the sadness in people's eyes. When people look at me, I wonder who they really see. So now I know I must let go of my fears and start to live a life true to myself. It will be good to live my own truth, and it will also be good for my spiritual health. Then I can live life true to myself. Then I will feel fulfilled by living my spiritual truth. I can reclaim my freedom, be who I really am, just like I did in my eternal youth. We'll let that soak in. Take a deep breath. And when you're ready, just let it out and gently open your eyes. You know, Socrates said, learning is simply remembering. And the ancient Greeks had a saying, sapere ord, dare to be wise. And as we said so many times, Home is where the heart is, right? And so we need to reconnect with our heart. There's no place like home. So saper ord is, like I said, a Latin word, right? It means, it's Latin phrase. It means dare to know, and often translated as have the courage to use your own reason or dare to be wise. The phrase was first used by the Roman poet Horace in 20 BC and was later adopted by the German philosopher Immanuel Kant, who used it in his essays, What is Enlightenment? In Kant's essay, saper ord is used to express the idea that we should not rely on the authority of others, but should instead use our own reason to think for ourselves. Kant argues that this is essential for enlightenment, which he defines as man's emergence from his self-imposed immaturity. The phrase saper ord has been interpreted in many different ways. Some people see it as a call to be independent thinkers, while others see it as a warning against the dangers of dogma and superstition. However, the phrase is generally seen as a positive message, encouraging us to use our own reason and think for ourselves. So, here are some versions of what it means, saper ord, right? Some of the ways to see it. Dare to be wise, have the courage to use your own reason, dare to know, and dare to think for yourself. And I've made an acronym out of the word dare, right? Dare to be free, which is what we all really want to do, right? Be free. Be free to be me, right? All right, so go back here a second. So I dare you to put a picture of you in space on a vision board. You go, oh, come on, what's the point? Well, everything you see began as an image in the mind of someone. So make sure you're in the image. And then spread love and pack light. That means give someone a compliment or have a nice word to say about someone and notice how that feels. Encourage the right feelings in your heart and your body. Simple, not always easy. We get afraid. How will people respond if I say something nice to someone on a compliment? Are they going to think I'm weird? Yeah, probably. They might take it wrong. They might take it the wrong way. Yeah, they could. It may not be the easy choice, but does it feel like the right choice? And get used to that. If it does, go with that choice and see where it leads. Let me know what happens in the comments below. Yes, I know this is totally ridiculous and completely unreasonable, but guess what? You know this now. The world is not run by reasonable people, right? It's run by unreasonable people. So there are no longer any limits to what you can create except the limits you place on yourself. So have fun with this. Be unreasonable, my newly minted space cadets. All right, when you are up in space, who'll be laughing then, right? Exactly. So share your experience, not just below in the comments, but with other people, your friends and family. Yes, they will think you are totally crazy and unreasonable. Let's hope so. I look forward to hearing about your experiences and reading your comments below. And in the meantime, saper ord, dare to be wise.